Yes, good morning, all of you, and welcome, Dr. Ajay Kushwaha, sir, and
Yeah,
welcome all of you, sir. Today's guest lecture will be conducted by this Dr. Ajay Kushwaha, sir, on understanding cybersecurity landscape 2021. Dr. Ajay Kushwaha, sir, currently working as associate professor in School of Computer Science and Information Technology, Jain University, Bengaluru, and prior he worked as a Lovely Professional University. He is also working as a co-guide to the three PhD scholar for Lovely Professional University in domain of blockchain, wireless sensor networks of optimization. He published two patents and one patent communicated for final grant in collaboration with Lovely Professional University. He is lifetime member of Indian Science Congress IAENG Hong Kong. Also holds a membership of IANG for Society of AI, Computer Science, Data Mining, and Software Engineering. He is also working as an editor, guest editor, reviewer for the more than 8 Scopus UGC listed or peer reviewed international journals. He published more than 31 national, international research paper publications in conference journal in Scopus and reviewed journals. He authored 7 books. He participated and conducted several seminars, workshops, conference, online tutoring, webinar, and e-content development workshops. So thank you, Ajay sir, for being here with us as a guest speaker. Sir, now you may start the session.
yeah. First of all, thank you, Parikshit sir and Poonam ma'am for providing this opportunity. Yes, it's really an interesting topic to talk about cybersecurity, and the fact is that nowadays when we talk about the pandemic, what we have just discussed, this particular area has been bitten very badly. So almost, if we see the survey, almost nearly 400% of the hike in the cyber threats and the attacks was seen during this pandemic period. So as we all know that our students are from this particular background, so we are probably going to cover the most important parts in this section. We will try to touch all the aspects. So we will see about how the cyber threat landscape 2020 a walkthrough. I will go and view this infographics part. After that, we will try to also understand the statistics, means what are the current news which is related to the cyber crimes, what has happened in this current year in 2020 and 2021. We will also talk about what is phishing, okay, and we will also know password cracking, some kind of password keyloggers were there. We will see the different types of viruses, worms, what is ransomware. We will also try to understand that how actually it works. We will also try to understand DOS, DDoS attack and SQL injection attacks. Buffer flow, what does actually it means? It's related to something what you have learned in your operating system. Antivirus and other security measures that will surely help us to protect from certain kinds of attack. At least we will take a prevention methods also. So we will also going to have a discussion on what is IDS and IPS. So IDS and IPS again are nothing but they are a form of the protection which can be given to your threats that are coming to you. I hope everyone is listening, guys. If anyone have any kind of doubts, you have a freedom to just put your raise your hand, or you can put your query in the chat box that we can cover. Uh, yes. So if you see, this is the landscape which I was just discussing. I will try to explain some of the important things. If anything which is not getting to you, just let me know, and we will have a discussion on it. So if you are able to see this particular landscape, what we have seen, I've just talked that almost nearly about 400, that is almost 358% of the malware attacks were increased from 2019 to 20. So within the span of only 1 year, that is during before the pandemic and during the pandemic part we have seen. So if you see certain category of the malware, actually if I talk about the malware is a group of a large set of the attack kind of thing, where malware can include a viruses, it can include spywares. Droppers are again a new type of viruses which are coming. Backdoor, worm, ransomware and miners. So if you see, we have seen a lot of increase in the miners part. Actually, miners are something which wants to get something from your computer system or a network computer system. So basically, miner term is mostly related to crypto mining. You might be knowing about what is crypto. We have seen about what is blockchain and all. So in that, there are miners are there. So miners basically require some of the useful resources like CPU power and other, which use for the mining, and mining which actually extracting some valuable information from your computer or from your network. Okay, we are much aware about the ransomware because when we have seen the first part that is called as the WannaCry, which was very popular during 2016-17, if you are aware of it. So that was a very popular ransomware tool, a WannaCry, which was hitting almost all sectors of our industry with an huge impact on the country and the world. Worms are there. We must know what is worms. There is some slight difference between the viruses, worms. So viruses are basically a malicious code program which are intended to do the damage to the particular target system. Whereas the worms basically have an other way of attacking. It just replicate themselves and try to make our system more slower in that. Backdoors. Backdoors again are a kind of malicious code which basically try to enter to your system without knowing you. And spywares. Spywares are such programs which basically try to spy on your resources on your computer. So spywares can be of any of kind. Like they might be spying what are your activities are going on. We have seen a lot of different spy activities which are performed by the various big known companies. You might be knowing about the Siri, you might be knowing about the Alexa. Because if I talk about the Apple also, there were news in the previous past that Apple was just spying with their particular devices. Even they are tend to in such a way that the lot of secret informations were taken. Droppers are different kind of payload carrier, we can say, which will carry our malicious code from the server to your computer with the different ways. If I go and talk about the campaign, actually malware campaigns are something which is planned, which is properly planned by the attackers or the bad guy community to spread into it. I would like to talk to you about this part. Emote. Emote is something which is very dangerous kind of an malware kind family, which basically is increased by 4,000%. Actually, what happened? It is just like again a carrier which carries some payloads into it and it enters to your computer system. Now, the question comes here how it can enter to your computer system. For that, you have to understand some of the basics. We know certain kinds of attacks. You might have seen various kinds of news. You might have seen various kinds of ad campaigns, promotional campaigns, awareness campaigns by the bank that we are not sending any emails, we are not asking for any kind of security details. So these all things, how actually it does. If you fall breach to any kind of a phishing attack, this phishing attack may include a kind of an email which you are receiving from the sender. Okay, and it was stating that you have some download. You are getting some mails which is asking you for download, and whenever you click, there is a pop-up message comes on top of your browser that you need to install some kind of activist control. So when you click on it, automatically what happened? This kind of emotic get automatically distributed and come into your system. I will tell you how it is very dangerous. It is not a virus which can be easily identified. It is not a spyware or it is not a malware which can be easily detected by any anti-malware program. They have various different distinct natures which we are going to talk. So this entire data sheet was taken from the famous security lab available, that is Deep Insight. You can get this data available whenever you are going through it. So if I go and talk about the different malwares, we have already discussed that the top malware campaigns were Emote, Qbot, Agent Tesla, okay, Didrix and Trickbot. These are the top 5 malwares which were distributed. And when I am talking about the ransomware, don't worry about this name, guys. Actually, the names are something that has been given by their own distributor companies, and in which I have just discussed about this remote part. Okay. If I talk about the ransomware we all know. If you are not aware, I will tell you the basic difference between the what actually is a ransom we are knowing, kind of a POC, and where is a kind of a software. So what happened? The basic working of the ransomware is when it get installed in your computer, it has a capability that it can just go and encrypt all your file system, all your data, all your hard drive, and make it as an encrypted form. So what will happen if your data is very curious and if your data is very important at that time, these kind of ransomwares basically ask for the money to get a decryption key. Okay, so the famous were Sudenokobi and Rubok Mars Dharma. Dharma is something which is very popular. It has seen some kind of attacks in our Indian domain also. And last is the snake. Okay. After that, if I go and talk about another domain which was hit very means drastically, it was the banking Trojans. So if I talk about the Trojan also, a Trojan, we all know it is again a kind of a family of a malware program which basically has an impact. So if I talk again here we see the emote is very is crucial and is playing a vital role. So what actually the Trojan used to do, they used to capture some of the very important credentials either from the browser, either from your cookies or from your keystrokes, and then they used to send to the target machine, that is to the attacker. Okay. So there are various things which happens during this entire pandemic part. If you see this little bit down slide, you will try to understand about the different kinds of threats happen due to the OS and the file type. Okay. Why it is important? Because we are using this kind of devices day by day. You might be knowing about the Android. Okay, Android is a very famous, popular operating system that is widely used in our mobile phones. We are that users. And you remember during this particular 1 year of a period, 263% of the malware threats has been increased. That is a serious part. Actually, we feel that only computers are on the risk, but that is not true because mobile phones are also on the severe risk, and mobile phones also contains almost all kind of applications that are available for your programming part. I hope you all agree upon it. You can do all kind of work on the Android mobile phone and see if there is a malware increase, what could happen. It could capture all your important credentials on it. Okay. Next, when we talk about the most important things that people uses are the office. Okay, what is the office? Office is again a tool which help us to do some kind of official work like writing the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other part. So office documents were the most manipulated document attack vector and went up to 112%. It means that whatever document you are using, the documents are getting infected. I don't know whether you all are aware of not, but PDFs are also very much vulnerable. And after that, we are having the Word file, doc files, RTF, rich text files. Rich text files are very hugely infected in the last few years. So the attacks with the help of the Office documents are also an important. Last but not the least, we always feel that Mac OS are quite secure, but you will be surprised to know that almost 30% of the hike on the attack on the malware has been came into this study. So it is since 2015 to 2019, we have seen that the threats on the OS, that is a Mac, which is considered to be the most secure, is also under the attack path. So the idea behind the discussion of all this is just to ensure that whenever we are talking about the cybersecurity, we must aware that whenever we deal with certain things, we must be knowing what are the facts are there and how it can be protected. That is what our role and goal whenever we are learning the cybersecurity. Is it clear? I'm not getting any responses, guys. If you have any doubt, you just put it. Otherwise, you can just put some messages in the chat box. That will help me, and I will feel that we all are going on the flow. Okay, this was something which is what we call the brief discussion. What we need to be do during the cybersecurity part, and we have seen this kind of increase within the 1 year. Okay. Yes. Any doubts? It is just kind of a lecture. If there is a doubt, we can explain or we can move further. Put your responses. We are seeing only 33 students present over here. The next slide. Now we will be going to talk about, yeah, Sarita. Yes, Sarita, you have raised your hand. May I know? Yeah, now you have an option to unmute and you can just ask. No problem. I've given the permission to ask the question.
Yes, Sarita ma'am, you can ask the question.
Yes. If there is a question, it's okay. We can have it. Yeah, Sarita Tane. Okay. I think she is not able to unmute. Actually, I have given the permission to unmute. Maybe. Okay. Once you come, you can just unmute and you can ask whenever it is required. So now if I go and see this, we will see some statistical figures. Actually, we believe that whenever we are talking, we must know what is the impact and how the cybersecurity is going to cost us. Us means a country or a company or an individual if I go and talk. If you see here, the fact is that the cyber security, if we measured as a country, then cybercrime, which predicts to inflict damages totaling 6 trillion globally in 2021. Actually, we are seeing and we can say that almost 6 trillion of the loss has to be bared. And that is the world's third largest economy after the US and the China. Now you can understand what we are talking about. This particular statistic has been provided by the Cybersecurity Ventures. Again, they are into the security field and they used to do the survey. So, according to the survey, Cybersecurity Ventures experts, global cybercrime cost to growth by 15% per year. Okay, over the next 5 years, so reaching 10.5 million trillion annually by 2025. That is, if I go and see the intention behind telling you that how basically the crimes are attacking. I don't know, but if you see, it is not only the crimes, but nowadays people are also getting aware. People, in the sense, I believe, of the IT companies. You can be very happy to know that cybersecurity kind of branches are coming. Universities are very aware. Companies are coming up with the training part, and also all the kinds of sector of companies, either it could be directly involved in the IT companies or not, still they are now giving an importance to the budget. So budget, in the sense, if they are planning for any kind of businesses, they also plan for how much they would like to spend to protect themselves. Because if I go and talk about the loss is something which is again unbearable for any company, and cyber losses are big and huge. Okay, so next is, yeah, according to Granter, Granter is a very popular, you can say, a web service provider which does a lot of security surveys. The reports are very valid, and people used to take the reports. So they have issued one thing: the worldwide information security market is basically forecasted to reach 170.4 billion in 2022. Now, if I talk about the security market here, I means that the allocation of the budget for the particular security has to be given, and they were very keen so that they should be reached. So why we are discussing this statistic? To understand that whenever we want to make a career, or whenever we are thinking that how my career is going to be there, so you can have lot of opportunities and the growth rate over here. So according to the University of Maryland, they also have conducted a survey where the malicious hackers are now attacking computers and the network at the rate of one attack every 39 seconds. So that is again a very interesting fact with respect to, if we all to know whether the hacking attacks are popular, they are frequent or not. We can say that according to their survey, they found that almost in every 39 seconds, we are seeing one of the second attack on the computer or on the network or on the web services. Okay, next. So according to Verizon, again, a Verizon is a very popular service, that is a company which basically deals in the cybersecurity kind of publications. They are basically publishing their results. They are again conducting the surveys on that. So they found that 71% of the breaches were financially motivated. What does it mean financially motivated? Financially motivated, you see the example now. You've seen about the ransomware. So why they used to do the data breach? Just to get some kind of money, ransom from them, and they will not. Now the idea, you might all knowing about the WikiLeaks and all. Okay, do you really feel that people are really worried about that they should disclose the information for freely? It's not like that. There might be certain companies, they have initially contacted to them. when they were not ready to pay the money for what the data they were having, they have just opened to all. It was happened. And if you see, just few months back, we have seen a biggest database of all the Indians' credit and debit card details were also available on the dark web. How much important it is for us, why it is important for that, we must have to think that whenever we face an issue on the cyber attack, we will be paying a lot of it. Okay, so these are what we are talking is the threats part. So according to Accenture has also conducted a survey, he found that 68% of the business leaders feel that their cyber security risks are increasing. So it's a survey from the Accenture. Accenture is a company which is feeling that almost 68% of the business leaders feel that they are under the cyber security risk. And if they are under cyber security risk, they really want someone who can come up and protect, who can come up and provide a solution. Okay. Yeah. Next. I hope everyone is listening. Huh? If anyone have any doubt, you can put it out. It is we are not in the convey mode, but yes, yeah. Again, our region also has also produced one result saying that 52% of breaches are featured hacking. 28% are involved in the malware. If you see over here, malware part, and 30 to 33% include in the phishing or the social engineering respectively. So that is the categorization of the attacks which was done by the Verizon on the various factors. So 52% are on the breaches. Breaches means a data breach. Okay, that is basically a kind of an hacking attack which we have seen. Okay. Next important, that is 28% are also, yeah, 28% are involved in the malware and 32% were involved in the phishing and the social engineering attack. So that was basically a data which is coming from the Verizon. Next, if you see over here, okay, I'm having one option. Okay. Yeah. Harshit Soni is telling something. Sir, nowadays almost everything is online, so this is the main reason behind the rapid increase on the cybercrime. Yeah, correctly, Harshit. And when I'm going to show you one best video demonstration on the phishing, now you will come to know that how basically we are getting fail preached to certain kind of things. Yeah, it's true, and because of online only it is happening. One more important thing I would like to tell in this particular part, that we can't have an escape for not going online. It is not only one pandemic what we are seeing, but it is almost the businesses are now shifting their entire operations on the online mode. There are many certain reasons are there. It is not only one pandemic, but also there are many reasons like increase in the market, global reach, okay, profit and all. So that is what the reason now, opting of getting automation, computer or infrastructure or IT is going to increase these kind of things to be there. So it is not only that we should only focus that it is happened because of the COVID, we should only focus on this, but no, but there are many certain reasons are there. So if you see, global research predict that businesses will fall victim to the ransomware attack every 11 seconds in 2021 compared to every 14 seconds in 2029. That was just a prediction which was made, and you might be aware that one company recently was also faced one ransomware attack, and they were almost going to cost them 20 to 30 million dollars. But actually this attack was not much powerful, and it was predicted that this attack which was placed was only just to test, and by 2024 we will find that ransomware attacks are going to increase at a rapid rate. So they were just testing on it. Okay. Yeah. Next part. Yeah, the estimate of the ransomware, we are just talking about the ransomware only, to the business will top 20 million billion dollar million billion dollar for the upcoming, with an average attack costing over 4 billion. Yes, guys, if I talk about the bitcoins, you might be knowing about. It's a blockchain, that is cryptocurrency, and this is very famous. So bitcoins nowadays rates are very high. You might have heard the previous news about the Elon Musk. he was also invested on the money on the Bitcoin. And nowadays, either we are still in the confusion whether we should means accept the Bitcoins as a financial currency or not. There are various certain laws and discussions are still going on. We may not going to get an access to the Bitcoin legally in India, but yes, many other countries have already opted and they are also already doing the business. So there are lots of pros and cons on doing it. Okay, so I'm not going to talk much about the blockchain and the Bitcoin, but yes, I would like to say that it is going to cost almost average of 4 million for every kind of ransomware attack in an upcoming year, and that is going to be a huge cost for any certain company. Okay, the average downtime during the ransomware. Now, what is the downtime? Downtime means if your business is running, okay, at a certain point, if the business has to stop, has not to stop or functioning, that comes under the ransomware attacks. Okay, so it was compared for almost 19 days in the quarter of 2020 compared to 12.1 days in quarter of 2019. It means that the shutdown period for a particular company who was attacked with the ransomware is almost having more than 19 days for them. So you know what is the meaning of 90 days? Number one, their data is compromised, they have to pay the ransom to get back their data, and second, they will be impacted for almost 19 days. It means the 19 days overall business is going to be collapsed. That was a severe thing. Okay. Yeah. Next, you can see over here, the average cost downtime in 24% time higher than average ransomware. Now, this is what something very interesting. Now, for example, if a company like IBM, Accenture, or any big company who is getting ransomware attack, what they will do? What is your suggestion? The fact is that either you should pay the money or you should wait. You just tell them to destroy. It's not possible. So the cost of downtime is going to be higher. You might be very surprised. We always talk about the bad impact of the COVID, right? Do you know something that the good impact of the COVID? Almost all IT sector companies had made double, triple, and four times of their normal profit during the work from home situation. It means the IT industry is not at all hit, even though they were more in the profit because they don't have to pay the money extra. There are a lot of convenience and the extra cost on the employees, and their work has reduced. Yeah, Raj Kante, I hope you have raised your hand. Yes, you are allowed to talk. Uh, okay, I think he has just accidentally raised his hand. Anyway, uh, if you want to just raise your hand, I will allow you to talk on that. No worries. So this is what we have talked about the average. So most of the time, companies might feel that they must pay the ransom to get the access because their downtime is going to cost much more higher than the normal thing. Okay, in 1920, the average global cost to remediate a ransom attack was almost, you can see this figure, 7761 $106 almost. Okay, it's almost $761,000 was costing during this 2019, 2019, 20, and 20. It was by the Sophos Lab. Actually, Sophos is very well famous and world-renowned security cyber lab, which used to conduct the surveys, and also they used to perform some kind of what we call the simulation of the attacks and the attack vectors. Okay, so that was something which was interesting. I hope you all enjoyed. Anyone who have any doubts would like to express, can, they are most welcome to do that. Okay. uh, Next, now let's go and see about the types of cyber attack. Actually, this topic has been taken since you have, you in your syllabus it is supposed to be discussed, what ma'am has told to me, so that we are going to do. Okay, just a second. Yeah. Now, if you see, this all things are covered in your syllabus part. That is the most important things that we are going to discuss. So we will go and talk about some of the important highlights. So what are the different types of cyber attacks that are very popular and common? We have just talked about the phishing. Okay, what does a phishing means? There are various types of phishing attacks are there, and there are three important types there. There is a well phishing, spear phishing, and farming. They are the types. So if I just want to know about the phishing, the common phishing attacks are discussed over here. I hope it is visible to all of you guys. Okay, number one, this is basically an email phishing. Okay, email phishing means what? A scammers will basically create an email, and it also would like to impersonate that they are coming from the legitimate companies. Let's assume, I will take a simple example. Okay, if you are working in a certain company, IBM, and you are getting an email from the IBM director, let's assume that director at the rate ibm.com.in or something. So what in the first instance you will feel, you feel that yes, I'm getting an email from the director. But the fact is that is it really coming or not, that has to be taken care. Because if we are in the worry, if we are very fastly we are taking a decision, it might be possible that there is a phishing email might have been created. So when we go and see the details of the email which is coming, there we can decode. Even guys, if you're using your Gmail now, there is an option. You can go and click on it, and you can find that from actual where location that email is coming. Is it for coming from the actual location or not? And almost you will be very happy to know that phishings, that is spams, are already there for you. They will automatically spam the emails and they will put into the separate category so that you get an alert. Okay, this happens. Next, spear phishing. Spear phishing is also very similar to your email phishing, where the messages are more personalized in the fact. Email phishing is common. It might be floated to 1 lakh crores of people at one time. But what happened with spear phishing is targeted to single, and it will look like when you read that email now, you will feel that this message is only coming for you. Then your name might be there, something very interesting which is only known to you might be appearing, and they would like to make sure that it is coming to you. I've just given one example prior. It was a boss. It might be possible that you're working in the IBM and you're getting the email from your boss, that why you have not done the particular work. He might be asking some kind of important data, and accidentally, if you're not seeing the particular email properly, you are not validating whether it is coming from the actual source or not, you get failed to, means you get breached, you get attacked, you get fished on that part. Okay, next is a clone phishing. So clone phishing, by the name itself, you can understand that there is some replications are going on. So scammers replicate an email which has been received, but it also include dangerous attachment. So here with this particular phishing attack, you will get some kind of attachment. An attachment can be a simple link, or it could be having a certain files. Okay. We have also talked about the veiling. So scammers target a high-ranking executives to gain the access to the sensitive data or the money. Okay, it is again a kind of a spear phishing attack that we have talked. Pop-up phishing. Pop-up phishing, as you all know, what is the pop-up? Pop-up messages are coming. So fraudulent pop-ups trick users into installing the malware. I think this is not much different. Okay, you might have seen this kind of pop-up attack. Okay, you will get a pop-up message that yes, there is some offer is going on, and you will be allowed that you should go and click on it, and you get an access. So automatically, what happens when we click now? Some kind of scripts get installed in our computer, and then when they execute, the most common nowadays in this kind of category comes under the, the extensions are there, Google Chrome extensions. There are various unknown Google Chrome extensions comes into picture, and they used to install. And now what happened? They will hijack our entire browser. Means your by default search will change to the search. Can anyone just type the message which was the famous one in this category? It was very popular. Almost all of us might have experienced this kind of things. Yeah. Anyone? It will be happy. I hope you all are enjoying what we are talking. Yeah, it's scammers are there, correct, Venkatesh. One, ask.com. It is a fraudulent, what we called the search engine, okay, which actually overrided whenever you install some extension. And you know what happened? If you are installing some kind of tools, the very famous tool I will tell you, you all are student and you might have used that. Do you know something about the torrents? And there are some torrent clients are there which you want to install. uTorrent is very famous. So when we are installing uTorrent now, there is some bundled adwares were there, bundles programs comes into picture, and we have an habit, we can simply go and do click click click. So what happened when we do that? Automatically this adwares get installed, and the moment they get installed, now they get captured to your entire program, and they will start doing bad things with you. What are the bad things? Means your computer getting slow, you are getting some unwanted pop-ups, you will find that your machine is saying that you are under the very serious threat, you scan, you pay the money and all these things. Okay. uh, yeah, so the next in this category will be, we will talking about, yeah, the man in the middle track. It's very interesting if we talk about what is man in the middle. So what happened basically, yeah, Sarita is there. Sarita, yes, you want to speak something? I have already unmuted you. You have an option, you can just unmute and you can talk. Actually, you are in the microphone. Yeah, Sarita Tanay. Okay, so we will wait until you talk. Till then, I just want to continue with the man in the middle rack. Okay, uh, what is happening actually? See, what is the logic? Whenever we are basically in the state, this is our computer. Okay, so we just want to use some kind of services which are available at the World Wide Web. Okay, so what we used to do, we used to first send the request to the server will identify that which request is there. If it need to validate, it will validate your user authentication, and then it will respond to you. Okay, this is what this simple thing, the phenomena where the client server communication takes place. But what happened now, you have to understand. Actually, what happened in this particular case, this is the legitimate way. But let's assume that someone comes into picture means he must be knowing that what and how the connection is established with the user to the web application. He will try to come inside middle, and he will send a new request to the user. When the new request to the user coming, it will show that the request is coming from the your server side, but it is not actually coming from the server side, but it has been intercepted by the hacker in the middle, and now it has sent to the victim. What will happen? Let's assume you are requesting for Gmail. Okay, and when you are getting the response, a response is basically going from here as a Gmail. So fake Gmail attempt is been there. It might be possible that within that the Gmail page is phished, means a phishing page has been created for the Gmail that has been sent to the victim. So what will happen if victim is not aware, he is not much educated, he will simply type his username and the password on the page which is reflecting for login. Okay, so what will happen once he pays, automatically this person in the middle will get the information that the user ID and the password of a particular person. Actually, it's not very easy, guys, because people will understand, but most of the people will not able to see that whether this page is phishing or not. There are various practical exam practicals are there, which we used to conduct for the student, where we actually create a phishing of the Facebook's login. It looks exactly similar to the your main page, and now we set up onto the local server, and when the page is passed, it looks that it is an original and authenticate page. You when you type the user ID and the password, what will happen now, this user ID and the password captured will send to the hacker, and also it will redirect to the server also. Means this is a very serious thing. You will get your Facebook open, but at the same time the user ID and the login credential will send to the middle person. This is what something called as a man in the middle attack. Again, it is, I would like to tell you that you don't have to worry. It's not very easy right away, because there are various two-factor authentication, multiple authentication authorization system came into picture, which man in the middle attack is little bit tough or difficult for to perform. So there is something called as session hijacking is possible. Okay, IP spoofing is there, and replay attack is there. These are the different types of the man in the minute attack that has been taken care. Okay, yeah, some question is there. Yeah, I can show you live, but since I have to cover a lot of important things, so it's very tough for me right now to show. But yes, I'm having one kind of phishing attack. If time permits, I will try to show. Okay, I'm not knowing your name. It's very it's I will be more happy if you will what we call the give me the name. I'm very happy that you actually want to see the phishing attack. Let me search. If I'm getting the answer, I will give it once I finish my this presentation part. I'm having one option where I will let you to know that how you can get fail free. You know what happened? phishing attacks has been increased during this pandemic also. I will tell you one thing. Do you know people come up to help a lot of means government agencies and other part to pay the money and they will get food and all. There were various things that has been came. So there are various websites also. Let's assume that someone is telling that if you are buying this mask, let's assume that Amazon is providing a free mask. There is a free distribution scheme is going on for the mask distribution. Okay, so you will find a link. So what happened when you click on the particular link, you will be actually redirecting to the particular Amazon page. But what happened now, the page, the link which you are clicking on it, that was actually fetched, and whatever your critical information like your computer name, from where you have logged in, what is your ISP, which IP addresses you are using, what is the various operating system OS and other details. So all the details, port number, everything will captured by the hacker on his side, and now he can go and see what are the various kinds of vulnerabilities which are present in your computer, and then he will plan for the attack. Yeah, I'm finding Vishal has raised his hand. Yes, Vishal, you want to speak out something? I have unmuted Vishal. Let's see whether it is able to now speak. Vishal, the fact is that whenever you are coming, you have to connect with the audio to speak. Either you can put your message in the question answer, or also you can put your message in the chat.
Yes, sir. I have tried this in my own virtual machine.
Yes, Vishal. Yeah, sorry, I didn't heard. Can you please repeat?
I, yes, sir. I have tried this in my own virtual machine.
Wow,
But
that's great.
the address, but the address is it is an IP address, not the proper link. Suppose I want to create a clone for Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
so I will not be able to give the proper name as facebook.com or change the spelling. It is
Actually, what
the
happened now?
IP address.
Right, right. See, what happened now, for that there is an extra masking is also available. Masking in the sense that IP address will be masked to a certain kind of a Facebook looking thing. Remember one thing, a facebook.com cannot be created again as a facebook.com. I will tell you, Vishal, what people used to do. You know what is the front page that is on the top? It will show you the SSL security, right? And it will show the website, the facebook.com, right? So people, they used to take the snapshot of the top part and they paste it, and now the remaining page, that is the body part, is only shown. So people will feel that it is actually coming from the Facebook. And you're right, we can't directly go and provide the actual facebook.com name only. But yes, if you have actually hosted on the local it will work. Otherwise it's difficult, so it is showing as an IP only. So you have to search. There are some techniques where we can bind that IP to the name. Okay. Yeah, wonderful. So I'm very happy that yes, you all are using the VMs. Yeah, it's good for practice and learning how the attacks basically works. Uh, you might be having the social engineering toolkit from where you have creating. Good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, wonderful. So yeah, moving to the next part. We have talked about the phishing. What about the next? Now the next here comes is the SQL injection attack. Again, this is all possible, but the fact is that the question comes here that, sir, do really nowadays SQL injection attacks are very common? My answer will be not probably yes, because it is not common right away. Because previously, when we were making the web applications, it was highly vulnerable because the databases were open. We are using a simple SQL query, and it was possible that from the particular input field we were able to execute some of the SQL injection commands. Okay, means what? The concept of SQL injection here means that inside my structured query, with the help of my field, that is the input field, I am firing some query. And when the query is get executed successfully, it will give the data to us. That was the actual concept behind the SQL injection thread. Okay, injecting the queries which will fire and which will revoke that the database is revealing all this information. Either it could be entire tables, schema and all. But again, it is not very common right away. You can't go and say that yes, it is possible. But yes, if you want to learn, there are few still websites available. It's not good to tell you right now, but yes, few domains.pk, that is from the Pakistan domain, and from some of the domains, and for some testing domains are also available. where you can perform some SQL injection attacks. That is just for the practice. Okay, even if you have the damn vulnerable website which is available, if you are using the VM and the Kali machine, or if you are using the Metasploitable, you will get to practice on it. So what happens in the SQL injection attack? Hackers identify the vulnerable SQL-driven websites, inject the malicious SQL query via input field. Input field, it could be a search string, it could be username and the password. Okay. There is a famous college. I would like to tell you one story. Last year, when I was in LPUNA, one attack was performed. That is basically, it was not a SQL injection attack, but it was a cross-site scripting attack. Access attack was performed on the website that the government is, that is the famous educational websites of your Pune only. And we have not done anything wrong. We have sent the email that your website is vulnerable to access attack, and after that they have just rectified it. So it happens. There are certain still websites exist where the attacks are there, but the problem is that how much we are aware, is it really important for us or not, that has to be taken care. Okay. Now it is not available because it was fixed by the means the education institution. But SQL injection attack, yes, this is what happens. Yeah, someone who want to say something? Okay. Anyway, so what happens? I have just told you about the SQL injection, how actually it has to be done. So whenever you are targeting, malicious query is validated and the command executed by the database. Once it is executed, database will reveal the information. If you are asking for show all the table, you all know about how to type the SQL queries. Okay, it will pop up all the information like usernames, passwords, and all. But again, I'm just telling you that yes, it is not always that you will get directly all the information. It's not possible, because nowadays the maximum protection has been taken care on the database part. It is not open, it is not again curable also. The moment you try to open anything, it will just stop preventing this attack. Next, yes, I've just talked about the access attack, and this was actually happening almost. It was almost 5 months back. We have done that. Just only simple testing. I have given an assignment, and two students has tested that this site is vulnerable to the access attack. So what happened in the cross-site scripting? Hijacker inject the trusted website with malicious script. You know what is script? You might have all learned about, no? That is HTML, JavaScript codes. Okay, so script, if you run, you know about what is script. Script, you can just yeah, someone is there who is raising his hand. Okay, can SQL injection attack deletion of the data is possible? Yes, Siddesh, yeah, it is possible if you are able to just have an entire control on your what we call the database. Now it is possible that the data can be deleted, because see, you know what are the operations can be performed, right? Operations like update, add, if you want to add certain table field, and then there is an option to delete. So we all know we are having different commands on the SQL to delete the table, delete all. So yes, it is possible that it can be deleted, right? So in the recent time, we have seen many WhatsApp chats has been leaked as an individual. What we can do to prevent? Okay, wonderful. Number one, it is seen that WhatsApp chat has been leaked. It is again something which is not suiting to the answer, because problem is that you have seen one important feature in the WhatsApp, right? That is E2E encryption, end-to-end encryption. So end-to-end encryption is something which protects all the messages between two people. uh, I don't know how actually you are telling that WhatsApp chats has been leaked. It has not been leaked, it has been shared by someone. For example, you talk to me and I take all the snaps and I'm sharing. That is different. Leaking means what? Between two secured parties, if the data is leaked, that is called as a data leak. So I'm not sure what actually you're talking about, but yes, if you feel that something is leaking, it is again a big question on the security side of the WhatsApp. As far as my knowledge, it's not possible that the data can get leaked by any of the plant. Like a third person cannot go and see any messages between two persons when they are following E2E encryption between them. You might have seen that whenever you're typing now, you're getting the message that end-to-end encryption is there when you send the message or when you receive the message. One more important thing here, that in this case, If it is not end-to-end encryption, then there is a possibility that data can be read by a server. But again, it is not as much as far as knowledge, it is not possible. It is possible only when explicitly the second party is sending or just putting the data live. Okay, wonderful. Good questions. I'm very happy that you are all asking the questions. Put your maximum question, that will be help us to understand the things. Now, if you are able to see in the XSS, I have just told you how these attacks has to be triggered. Actually, we have to make sure that we are putting what the particular query on it. Query in the sense, we put the script now. Let's assume that I am putting the script to open the URL. What will happen if that particular website is vulnerable and the script execute, means that the particular frame will create and it will start loading my page. XSS attacks might be dangerous or might not be dangerous, but yes, if any code triggering inside your live website is a very serious things that you have to take care of it. Okay, sorry. And I would like to tell you, do you know how to capture the cookie? There is a simple script is there. Okay, and when you are able to execute this kind of things now, you will be able to get the cookie information, session cookies, and that can be captured by the hacker. That is possible. Okay, so it's not much we are having the time to discuss in practical, but yes, we can show each and every attack in the practical mode when we are having much of the time. Okay, next is denial of service attack. That is a very popular called as a DOS attack. Now, the question comes that is the DOS attacks are very dangerous? Okay, it all depends upon the perspective how we think. So, what happened? In most common example, denial of service attack is an attacker uses a network of an hijacked computer. So, what happened? Hacker will make sure that he is able to hijack the network. Once he is able to hijack the network, what he will do? He will target to a specified server, and now he will send multiple requests on the target server. The intention, what was the intention of that particular activity, is to ensure that the server fails to respond, their entire bandwidth get, means what happens, it get utilized by just handling these responses. So this will make your websites what, slow. But again, it's an attack. It is not a legitimate traffic which is coming to the website. Legitimate means what? Means a legal traffic. You all might be aware now, whenever you go for results, possibly for when the 10th 12th results were out for the state and the CBSE board, that time you might be seeing the NIC websites. It's responds very slowly, and you will find, I don't know whether it is possible or not, but yes, when at our time, when we used to see for a certain time the website become not responding. So not responding means it doesn't mean that it is a DOS attack. It was something that, let's assume that my server capability of handling 1,000 users at a time, and at that time I'm having more than 1,000. At that time the website becomes unresponding to the other new users which were coming on. So this is what the denial of service attack. The intention here is to what we call the tease, or to make the target server down. Okay, if I go and talk about the DDoS attack, that is a distributed, where the attacker basically using only a single computer, and now he is using a controller over here. Okay, so controller, when he is using the controller now, this controller will create a lot of zombie servers. Okay, zombies are again a fake other computers which you are able to see here, and then they will start targeting to the web server with the help of the zombie. So what they are doing now here, only a single, now in this DDoS attack now, we are not seeing that the attacker is hijacking all the network. Now he is only creating a controller, creating the zombie proxy servers, and now he is sending the request to the target victim. Multiple requests are sent, and now what is the intention? It makes this particular server what, fails to respond. So what will be the impact? Let's assume that you are into the serious business of selling goods and services. Okay, at that time you find that some person want to take a revenge of you. So he will always try to put a attack on you on the DDoS attack, and then your server will be not able to serve any of your legitimate users at that time. This is what called as a DDoS attack. I hope it is clear to all. Okay. I hope I'm not running off time. Right? We are still having some time. Yes, Poonam ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, guys, if you have any
We have
questions, you can put there. Uh, till now we are having, even we are allowing them to unmute, but the problem is that their mic might not be working. Yeah. Next, if I go and see, are you able to see something over here? It is very famous. Okay. Famous in the sense how you tell it's a famous. In my scene, what I feel that what is the attack? Password attack. We all know about the WPA2 four-way handshaking. That is Wi-Fi hacking. Okay, getting the passwords. Second way is obtaining the password with the hash. That is the whenever we are whenever what happened whenever the password is saved now, it is hashed, and when we are able to get this hash value, we can what reconvert it to the password value if we are knowing the hash value. The only thing is that we have to also understand that how this hash value is created based on their size and the number. The hash can be converted into the password. That is also possible. And for doing that, there is some things are available. We already having the precompiled table of the hashes, or we are having the dictionary attack. What is the dictionary attack? An attack which is having all kinds of possible passwords which are available, and we just go and compare with them. Brute forcing is also available. Brute forcing is also a very famous technique which is used by the hackers to know the password. Brute force also uses the database, that is the password database. Okay, and then he tries. Rainbow attack is also possible. So these are the different types of attacks which are possible, or probably to just get your data. Okay, to crack the passwords which are put to you. So brute force guessing is popular method. Dictionary attack is also there. Only thing is that we all are doing the comparison. So for example, if I'm comparing the actual password when the particular program is played, it will go and try to check out how the password is matching. If the password keyword is available, means you will get the reply and your password will be cracked. But again, at a realistic mode, it's very tough to do the brute forcing nowadays. It is not false also. Whenever you are using the brute forcing now, brute forcing gives 100% result. Only time taken to do the brute force will increase, and the most importantly, it will take almost all kinds of permutation and combination to break out it. Okay, so I'm not going much in deeper into it, but yes, you can. Okay, okay. Yes, you want to know four-way handshaking. Uh, yes, yes, I will explain. Acha, just before that four-way handshaking, I just want to know that do you know about how the TCP works? TCP and IP works? Come on. Come on, guys. Okay. At least we all know na, that what is TCP. TCP is a transfer communication protocol. Okay. Clear? Okay. So what actually happens when we are talking about? Let's assume, I will tell you that if a client want to communicate with the server, okay, if a client want to communicate with the server, there is a process has to be followed. I will tell you what happened. Number one, client is accessing certain access point. So first of all, he will send a first request to the access point. Okay, in that access point, when the request comes, the access point or the server will basically validate whether the request is coming from the legitimate client or not. If it is coming, then what happened? The connection request has been sent, and the connection will successfully what we call connected. Then it will send a response. Okay, response means a kind of an acknowledgement is sent that yes, now I'm ready for the connection. That is one way. Two way, we are getting the response. Now what happened when we are getting the response? Now we will actually sending the first data. Okay, now you might have learned about how the data communication works. What is the sliding window flow control protocol? This is all something to know that whether my data is sent or not. What happened once the communication is established? Now the client is sending the data to the server side. So when it is sending the data to the server, what will happen? The data is sent, and now after the data is sent, the acknowledgement must have to come. So if you are getting an acknowledgement, it means that the packet data which you have sent has been successfully received. Okay, so this process of sending the data will continue unless your entire data packet from the client to the server is read. Once it is done, what will happen? You will send again a request to closure of the connection, and the response will come that the connection is successfully closed. So there are 4 steps where there: establishing connection, sending the data, getting the acknowledgement, and again closing the connection. This all comes under the 4-way handshaking. Okay, when this is the basically data transfer, that is the WPA. TCP data communication. But when we talk about the WPA and the WPA 4-way handshake, it basically ensures that authentication resources has to be validated. So client will sell the authentication packet to the access point, then access point will calculate and it will say that whether this particular packet received the authorization is proper or not. Then he will send the acknowledgement. It is in the form of PMK and PTK. This is the packet data which is to be sent. Okay, for the validating whether the client is actually using it or not. And once it is done, what will happen? The signal will say that yes, I am connected, and now they will start sending the messages. This is how the WPA handshake also works. I hope it is clear to all. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. So moving back to our part, so we were talking about this, the how the handshaking works. It is a way of communicating. Unless we are doing this communication securely, we are not validating the sender and the receiver. It will be very tough, and you will be falling into some of the attacks. So that is what the reason we have to do that. Now, are you able to see this particular diagram? What does actually it is telling you about? It is something which is related to artificial intelligence. So AI powered attack basically means now we are using artificial intelligence to make or to manipulate your AIs to work. Do you know how machine learning works? We train our system with the provided data set, and they will perform and they will give the model. The best predictive model will help us to take multiple decisions. Okay, so in the regular use case, what happens? If you are able to see over here, just a minute. Okay, my annotation, I'm just starting my annotation. In the regular use case, what happens now? You provide an input. Okay, when an input is provided, what happened? And there is a predictive model is there, okay, based on the data set which you have provided. It will basically manipulate, it will predict, and it will give the output. This is what is correct way of doing so. So what happens? You are training with the regular, that is stop. What does stop means? Stop means is a signal you are sending to it to the system, that is the modeling, and then it will giving the correct way, that is the classification. In the other way, let's assume that in this input attack, during the sending only, if you are able to insert the pattern of the attack, what is stop means, and you are changing the value, what will happen? The predictive mechanism will only able to take the input and process. So what will happen? Instead of showing the red light, it may show the green light. That is incorrect classification. So in short, if I want to explain about the AI powered attacks, it is something that where you are manipulating the data at a data set which basically mislead your artificial intelligence and the machine system to misbehave, and then you will be fall into attack. Now the question comes here, how you will get into the mislead? Is it possible or not? What are the different options are available? For that, there are multiple things are there. Okay. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, welcome. I am not yet able to know your name because it is showing anonymous attendee. So might be you might be someone. So anyway, So this is what something which we basically deal when we are talking about the artificial based or machine learning attacks. Actually, what happened? We use the training data set and we are creating or predicting our own model. So if you are providing the false data, the model will also give the false results only. But again, the problem is that whether it is false or not, again, it's a big question. For example, the simple example here is shown that if you're seeing a stop as the red light, you all will feel that we have to stop. But let's assume that what about the machines? If the machines were trained in a negative way, that when it is stop means you have to go, what will happen? It will disturb your entire system and the system will collapse and you will see the actual damage to your road or your accident you will feel, right? So I hope some insight was given to you. Now, this is what we are just talking about. Let's take it into the machine learning. This is a normal learning, okay? When basically you are using what? A normal data set is available for you, okay? You are applying some learning algorithm, that is a machine learning algorithm, and you are developing the model. That is the simple, the straightforward way what we are doing. Now there is a concept called as a poisoning attack. So again, I have already told that whenever you want to poison, you have to poison into the data set. Okay, so if you are providing the data set with that, if there is something which is the wrong instructions are given, what will happen? Learning algorithm will be applied and the machine learning model will become. But the problem with this model will be whatever input you have provided, false input, it will consider and the machine learning tool will develop. This will become a poisoned machine learning model, which is not at all good, and you will be into the serious problem into it. Got it? Okay, wonderful. So this is what something interesting. If I'm getting some response, I feel that I'm doing something good to all of you. Next, yeah. Next, now we are coming towards the drive-by attack. You know what is drive? It's a pen drive. So pen drives are something which is very serious, guys. I don't know. You might have used pen drives and you have seen that the moment you inserted the pen drive, your computer start behaving abnormal. The moment you start entering the pen drive, you will find that multiple duplicate folders get created. And if the pen drive, this kind of infected pen drive get inserted to a network, it has a capability to corrupt an entire network, either having the 100, 200, thousands of computers. If they are connected to their internal network, private network, they will all get infected. In this way, the infection spreads. So basically, USB flash is having famous kinds of viruses. They are called as a Trojan. So one virus name is mentioned here, Trojan androm.svn. Okay, that is basically a malicious file which is there. So what happened? The malicious code, once you insert the pen drive, the code will start decrypting and it get loaded directly into your main memory. Main memory means your computer, that is your RAM. It get loaded and it auto start the registry entry created. Registry entry means what? You have a reg files, registry is there. So once it is get loaded, it will automatically create a registry into your computer's registry, and now it arrives to user system via auto registry entry like this name. So it download and execute the Trojan PJ inject into the machine. Once it is getting registered, it will go and download from the server to it, and now the Trojan will be using as a favorite icon. This is an icon which is clickable. Now the download normal as a file decrypted resulting in the bad.rom.entl, and this particular enter execute the final payload. So this is the entire process how basically the Trojans are getting it. It is not only that only the USB is playing, but yes, USB where the various what we call the dangerous part of it. And that is what the reason many of the antivirus programs came, which make that whenever you are inserting the USB now, it first automatically gets scanning because they don't want any malicious programs to get inserted. This was a simple demonstration to understand that how USB process, how the malicious code inserted, how it get automatically registered, and how they are performing. Okay, now this is the famous part. I hope we are not having much of the time. Yes, we are having still 10 minutes more. We will try to understand what is ransomware. Okay, so ransomware we all know. We have just discussed about how ransomware works. What are the different ways that ransomware can be injected? Number one, we have just talked about, yes, the ransomware can become with the malicious email attack. within the email you might be having some script to be downloaded or some file has to be downloaded that may inject to it. Either it can come to the pen drive also, or either from the any malicious websites, the websites which are legal, not illegal, they are illegal. From there you can use. So user is infected by the ransomware. Once it is get infected, all the data on the PC and the network get locked. Now this is very serious. If you are connected to single PC, only one PC will get infected. If you are connected to entire network, your entire computer network get infected, and now you get digital lock. So what you have to unlock? You have to pay the ransom so that you get a decryption key for it. Okay. Okay, question is very interesting. How malware and viruses were created? Who uh, who create this malware and viruses, and where it is created? Number one, how malwares were created means, see, there are always the mindset is there. Let's assume that if you can do a programming for some good things, you can also do a programming for bad things. Like, are you able to understand? I am doing a program to know the some important facts. Let's assume that if I want to know what cookies you are stored, what is the session key, I can just write a program which will help. So malwares basically create. Who create means a person with the cruel intention, some hatred, or knowledgeable person who want to take some revenge will lead into this kind of creation. Now where it is created, again it's a big question. We can't say that we are having this kind of institutions where malware and virus creation are taught, but yes, these are the people or the group of some close what we call the group which operates, and they used to basically create this kind of things. Yeah, this is what answer I can give. Sir, how the online games are being hacked, where hackers are able to play the game, why they want. Sir, how the online games are being hacked, and where hackers are able to play the game, why they, where, the way they want. Yes, actually, concept of hacking is something which is very furious. Okay, online games hack means I didn't understand. Hack means they will hack the session, and whenever you are playing with them, they will. I don't know because I don't used to play the games, but yes, if we talk about the hacking, hacking is possible. It means that they might be able to log into the particular game zone where they were not allowed to do by some kind of scripts, by getting some user details, credentials. You are also playing certain games online. Okay, that is also able to. And yes, they want to play, they will come into picture, but the intention is not only to play the game, their intention is little bit different. Hacking the games is to just earn the money. The way how they will earn the money, it all depends upon their payload, their interest, and how they want. Okay. Hmm. Yes. So this is all about the ransomware attack which we have discussed. Okay. Next, EVA's dropping attack. EVA's dropping attack is again a very similar and common to your man in the middle attack. Okay. Uh, in the same way it happens. Let's assume that the computer, this person want to communicate. Okay, user want to communicate to the server for getting some information. This is actually an original communication. Okay, connected to internet, connected to server, getting. So there is a response request, and the response is coming out. But what happened when somewhere this particular hacker is able to manipulate this connection that this person is using? Either he might be into the same network. When he has done the network monitoring, he might get. So what happened, the connection request, instead of going directly to him, it will redirect to the new connection request. And then what happened, this will intercept, the request will be intercepted, and again the response will be collected from the server. Here he is collecting some very critical information from the computer user. Okay, it doesn't mean that it is not providing the result. It will connect to server, server will give the response, and then he will give response to it. The only thing is that the legitimate traffic which has to be going, it is not going directly, it is going just indirectly with this EVAS dropping. Basically, the only difference between the man in the middle attack and the EVAS dropping is just to ensure EVAS dropping is mostly carried out to do the reconnaissance. Okay, understanding the system, like their what the computer they are using, what are the security measures they are using, and so on. So their intention is not much cruel what is happened in the man in the middle attack. Okay, that is what the only basic difference over here. Okay, so I hope I have talked a lot. So there is one diagram is available for EMOT. Would you like me to play this diagram? Sorry, it's a small clip. Okay, emote, what I have just told you, what I will do, I will not play this because it is taking some time, but I would like to show you one important thing.
Okay, let's talk.
We will see how phishing attacks works. Okay, and once it is done now, we will make sure that we are closing the session because we have already consumed a lot of important, your crucial time. So whenever we are meeting next, we will have a lot of discussions. It's very tough to cover all this important point, but I just tried with single slides to do it. Let's understand phishing. Okay, and the idea behind playing this video is not only to know the basic difference what phishing means, but also what are the various conditions based on that the phishing attack occurs. Okay, that we are going to see. You can put your comment on this
About
particular
phishing.
video.
No, not that phishing. Phishing is a kind of online scam. You know, you're contacted by a person or company, often through email, regarding something important. You click on a link and are then asked to give away valuable information like a password or bank account number. But nobody ever falls for this, right? Wrong. If phishing scams didn't work, they wouldn't exist. But how come they work so well? 1. We love to click, and the internet was made for clicking. It's that simple. Click, 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 clickety, click. 2. Our smart brain loves to take shortcuts and predict things. Phishing scams use lookalike web and email addresses that are spelled wrong, and we still get fooled. 3. We are hardwired to respond to emotions. Curiosity, trust, fear, desire, generosity. 4. Urgency. Phishing scams always prompt us to act fast. What do these 4 points all have in common? They can cause an automatic reaction, bypassing our critical thinking. Time to put phishing scams under the microscope. Favorite channels: email, phone call, SMS. Common traits: unexpected, asking to bypass a usual process, trying to trigger an emotion. Most efficient when we are tired, stressed, or conversely, very happy. Believe it or not, we are more likely to be fooled right before a vacation or after receiving really good news. If faced with what could be a phishing attempt, stop, then look at it again more closely for details. Do a double verification by searching online for information on the company that has contacted you or telephoning the person that has just emailed you. With this knowledge, you are now more prepared to escape phishing. No, not that phishing.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
So actually, that is what something the phishing attack has to be understand. Yeah, we are at the closure. This was the top trend in the 2020. What the malwares were trend. Okay. This is what the statistic now, which is very serious and triggering. How the things are happening. What are the things which are coming? So you can see that how much maximum damage can be possible. Almost 300 plus percentage of the ransomware went up high. These are actually damaging the entire content. Okay, this is the statistical figures which are showing the increase. Okay, this is what the OS, I have told you that there is some document attacks. So if you can see this particular thing, you will come to know that the attacks of the PDF and the Office document increased in 2020. This is the maximum number of the possible attacks, the figure which is setting out. See, this is the PDF, how it comes to work. RTF document, malware attack. So cybercrime as a service, it's very serious, guys. We have seen cloud services. Now people are also giving you service called as a crimeware. Crimeware means if you want to perform a crime, you just buy as a service and you can do it. So what kind of service you want to buy, that you can do it. It's again a serious part, not covering a lot. Buffer overflow, again, I'm not having much of the time, but I just want to tell you that whatever we have learned now, the data structure, if we have certain things, The data has to be 8 bytes, and if we are including more than that, it becomes an overflow. A buffer overflow occurs when more data is put into a fixed length of the buffer than the buffer that can handle. So if I'm putting extra, it means it get overflow only. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have talked much about the viruses and attacks. So what is the common way to protect? In my update, you must keep your update, everything updated. Your antivirus programs, your malware program if you are using. If not, antivirus also include the malware. And most importantly, your operating system must get protected. All your applications that you are using must get updated and protected. So in this way, we can protect maximum protection in that field. Okay. So I have not covered IDS and IPS. Probably when I get time, I will try to cover. Again, I would like to tell you simple way. These are the detection monitoring tool and the prevention tool, which has to be applied into a network. When I am applying, I am just ensuring the extra layer of protection to my computer and the network system. Detection system means it helps us to detect, and it will prompt us that something is going wrong, some packets are wrong. Prevention system means it will detect and it will also prevent, means it will not ask, it will do automatically the prevention mechanism. That is what the IDS and the IPS here mean. Okay, so this is all about the conclusion we are talking about. So you can see that by 2022 400% is going to increase. Emote I have not yet shown, but again to show that it requires some more time. So this is all about my suggestions will be that whenever we are doing, we must be able to understand that the basic fundamental thing almost at the end of this is that almost 98% of the attacks are only happened because of the human errors. Human people, the people who are there, they were responsible for keeping this attack. So it means that technology attacks only possible when the human do certain mistakes. Okay, guys, so attendance list is already posted by Poonam ma'am. You can fill the form, and after that, again, there is one interesting survey link is given to all of you. You can participate on the survey. Okay, so I have created one survey. Once you finish, you will get that survey link. You must fill up. It will be helpful for me to understand. Thank you, Neeraj, for your appreciation. So I hope this in this way I just want to conclude. I know it's very tough to conclude everything at a time, but yes, due to the shortage of time and also having some other commitment, that's why I'm just leaving right now. But I'm leaving with the hope that yes, whenever we talk about the cybersecurity, we must always know about what are the recent things going on. If you want to make a career, the most important thing is the awareness is very important. So you must be aware that how the things are working. You must be able to have the curiosity that when something happens, you must know that how things are going on and how you will try to protect yourselves. This is all in our hand. We can have a maximum level of protection that can be possible by us only. Okay, so that is all from my side. Yes, Poonam ma'am, shall we conclude?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, it's really very nice session. Sir, do you have 5 minutes? If students have any questions,
Yeah, sure,
we
sure,
will
sure.
unmute them and they will ask you directly.
Exactly, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
guys, anyone
Students,
who
those
wants,
who have any doubts or
someone is asking my
anyone
contact
have any
details.
questions, please raise your hand so that
Okay, someone is asking my WhatsApp.
what, sir?
Okay, I don't know because I'm not getting their names. So yes, I have shared my number. Uh, yeah, it's really indeed a pleasure with all of you to talk. Yes, I in the last time also I was just talking to ma'am and telling that ma'am, this is not the thing that it can be covered in 1.5 hours. It requires a lot of time, but yes, at least we have tried to put some kind of lights on each and every topic that is there in your syllabus part. Apart from the syllabus, I personally feel that whenever we are practicing, we must do it practically. So unless we are doing practically, it's very tough for anyone to understand, because virtually we can only predict, but what is actually happening when you do, when you realize, when you are actually working on certain tools, it will really help us to get that. Yeah, thank you all for your wonderful comments coming over here. Yes, Poonam ma'am. So any question, guys, you can ask. Let me see. Sir, what is recommended book to study digital forensics and digital acquisition? Wow, this is again a very wonderful topic. I also worked a lot in the digital forensics. I have taken some classes. So for that, one course is freely available for all of you from the Open University from the Europe. You can search on the website and you can do that course. It is having all the prerequisites. So if I go and talk about the book, there are multiple books are available on the forensics also. Okay. Specifically which book? Because from last 1 year I have not taught this subject. But just a minute, I'm having one book reference. I will put this message to ma'am. Ma'am will communicate with you. So it's a digital forensics. A bibliographic book is available. That is also very useful part. Yeah. Any other question from your side, guys? I'm just trying to give that book name. In between, if any other question, we can take that. Just come on. Yes, one book I was just talking. If you want to get start with the career now, there is a book from there is actually a Elsevier publication book which is available by the John Simons. It is the basics of digital forensics. That is good. Okay, that you can just go. And there is a publication Edison will see is also available, which will give you the insights of the digital forensics and the basics. So it has multiple steps which are there in the forensics when you are talking, starting from the image acquisition to all. And one more important thing, one interesting video series available on the Packet publication. Okay. That is almost from the Rajkumar is somewhere, not knowing the name, but yes, he's having the entire practical demonstration from the start, from the initial seizure to the final court of prediction. Everything was covered very well that you can go and take. Even I'm having some of the videos, but I don't know how to share. We will see if it is possible. I will do it. Yeah. Yes. Anything else? I'm very happy to be the part of this thing because there are very interesting questions are going on.
Okay, sir. We can conclude, sir, now.
Okay.
Actually, on behalf of Skinsui Computer Department, I would like to thank you for a very nice informative session. Sir, you explained very nicely by giving good examples. So we are happy as you are being with us as a resource person and sharing your valuable time with our students and faculties as well. So hoping same kind of association in future, sir.
Definitely, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm also indeed very much what we call thankful to the organization for providing me an opportunity. And surely, when we are meeting next time, na, we will try to plan for some practical oriented because personally, only giving this kind of examples is not much enough in this have a theory, ethical hacking or penetration testing. So we can have much more things that we can do it. But let's see how it works. So anyway, it was really a wonderful.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
to you and Parikshit sir for providing this wonderful opportunity to interact with the student. It's really a great privilege and honor for me. Thank you, ma'am.
Good,
Yes,
Hello.
thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
good afternoon, sir. Hopefully, I'm audible.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes, sir. Shafi sir. Pathan sir.
Yeah.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, sir. My name is Pathan. I am working with Parikshit Malle sir in his department only.
Okay.
It was very nice session, sir. I attended a whole session, and once again, thanks from us also, sir, for sharing this information.
Thank
Actually,
you.
I'm working on the same field, so definitely it is helpful for us also. And
Wonderful,
yes,
sir. It will be very.
So thank you once again, sir, Ajay sir.